And like, it's crazy to me that like you say your voting's public and your voting is decided by the fans, but if anyone really does any research, they can see who the people who are the most voted for are really.
Influencers are known for being over dramatic and causing drama with whoever they can for clicks. But sometimes when influencers have called out large brands, it's been for the public good, and we got to really expose some shady brands for what they really are. Hey, what's up, Iris? It's Mackenzie here, and today on the channel I'm going to be filling you in on the top 10 influencers that publicly feuded with shady brands. And this list is seriously so juicy, so get your teacups ready because it is just piping hot over here. But before I get into it, make sure to go down below and subscribe if you like videos like this and want to see the tea spilling that we do on the daily. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into that steamy list. Starting off at number 10, we have VidCon. Way back in April of 2018, Tana Mojo made history when she uploaded her over an hour long rant calling out the biggest convention for YouTube, VidCon. In the video called Why I Won't Be Attending VidCon 2018, a rant, she gives fans a detailed look into her relationship with VidCon, telling them that she had been promised a featured creator badge for 2 years. Then she spoke more specifically of her experience in 2017, when she was a star of Joey Graceffa's Escape the Night series, telling her fans that even though her face was on a massive billboard outside of the convention, and she had scheduled meet and greets and panels, they still didn't give her a featured creator badge. And this meant that to get into events, she had to walk around the convention the same way that thousands of her adoring fans did, which of course caused a massive security issue that the security guards blamed her for. This then caused Tana to make the TanaCon convention out of spite, and you guys already know what a disaster that was. But Tana and the convention have since made up with her finally being a featured creator in 2019. In at number 9, Too Faced. Back in 2016, NikkieTutorials announced that she would be collaborating with Too Faced, making a palette as well as a host of other products. But the feud started when it was discovered that Nikki was not paid fairly for the deal, even though she brought in millions of dollars for the brand. The whole thing started in 2017 when Jeffree tweeted out a few digs at the brand, ending with him asking if he should expose how shady the brand was with Nicki's contract. Then once it was brought up again in Shane and Jeffree's makeup docu-series, where Jeffree said he knew of YouTubers that took terrible deals and were paid dirt, Nikki decided to finally come out with her side. Quote, I signed my contract with TF back then because I was naive and didn't know any better. At the end of the day, I signed it, it's my own fault. But what I'll never forgive is the fact that they allegedly changed the palette's quality behind my back. Thousands of negative reviews and I was clueless. With it later being revealed that she only made $50,000 well, she brought in about $8 million for the brand. Mind blowing. That is probably the shadiest thing I've ever heard. In at number 8, Teen Choice Awards. Many creators have spoken out against the Teen Choice Awards before, but one of the most vocal against them was once again Tana Mojo. She called them out in a YouTube video she did where she focused the whole thing on shading brands. In the video, she speaks of how she did not get nominated for a Teen Choice Award, even though through the hashtags on Twitter, she was one of the people most voted for out of everyone, calling the whole thing blatantly rigged, and saying how a rep from the company basically told Tana that she couldn't win because she wasn't brand safe. But Tana's not the only one, as tons of other influencers have problems with the awards show, with Shane Dawson tweeting out against the awards saying, quote, Dear YouTubers, please stop promoting the Teen Choice Awards. They're rigged and they just want to use your audience for traffic. Okay, thanks. Then adding in another tweet that if an internet star wins, they don't actually get the surfboard, telling fans it's been 6 years and he still hasn't gotten his. Then back in 2014, Cameron Dallas exposed the brand for telling him that he was the winner 6 days before the voting was closed, and he felt horribly for the other nominees when they kept promoting it even though he knew he was the winner. Then Matt Espinoza, another Viner, said it more bluntly, saying, quote, basically they picked the people almost 6 days before the voting was done and used all of us for promotion. So clearly the award show is very shady and your vote actually doesn't matter. In at number 7, Mary Kay. Natalia Taylor put MLM company Mary Kay on blast when she made a video called This Makeup Brand Scammed Me so I'm exposing them. In the video she tells viewers of how she was a broke college student and after she attended a Mary Kay party that convinced her she could get rich from selling, she got involved. But she ended up leaving the scam with $10,000 in debt because she was introduced to the Mary Kay credit card and bought way too much inventory so that she could win a free car. Saying about the company, quote, it's just a ploy to recruit people and send them into debt while people at the top get richer. But if you've watched my top 10s on MLMs, then you already know what's up. In at number 6, Fashion Nova. Pretty recently, Jackie Aina took to her Instagram stories to call out 3 brands by name: Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing, and Revolve. In this series of stories, she spoke about how she has noticed that these companies that specifically profit off black culture don't speak up on black issues when they're needed. Saying specifically, quote, "As we know, there are a lot of brands who love capitalizing on black culture, black music, black aesthetic, but are dead silent when it comes to talking about black issues and struggles in our community," Aina said. Then after she made the story, she took to Twitter to tell her fans that although the 3 brands saw it, Fashion Nova was the only one to reach out to her, and later posted a graphic to their Instagram supporting the BLM movement. Happy through number 5, BetterHelp. When BetterHelp was introduced, it seemed like an amazing way for people to get counseling on the go when they needed. But after tons and tons of YouTubers did deals with the company, there was some shady stuff revealed. After 86 users filed complaints about the app with the Better Business Bureau, several users described being charged excessive fees and claimed the counselors on the app were unresponsive, unhelpful, or just refused them treatment. Then there was an issue with the terms of service, where it was said that BetterHelp's terms of service state that the company cannot guarantee a qualified professional. After Philip DeFranco got tons of backlash for not only doing sponsorship for the brand, but also facilitating sponsorship with other creators, he decided to make a whole video addressing it. In the video, he defends all the reasons he accepted sponsorships from the brand, but saying he stopped working with them now that he learned of the shadiness found in their terms of service. In at number 4, Dote. After tons of young female influencers were sent to Coachella with the clothing app Dote, many influencers of color spoke about how they felt differently on the trip compared to the other girls. The backlash was mainly started after YouTuber Daniela Perkins made a video called, quote, "The Truth About Coachella featuring mental breakdown," immediately following the trip in April, where she spoke more about the experience and included footage of herself crying while in the Dote house. 2 other influencers who stayed at the house detailed to BuzzFeed News all of the ways that they felt slightly separated from their white peers while on the sponsored trip. After this started to pick up steam online, the company made a statement that this was not true and the beds were assigned randomly. But after so many girls had spoken out about it, it was really hard to deny, and everyone could pretty clearly see what actually happened. And at number 3, Defy Media. Defy Media was a media company that owned prominent YouTube channels like Smosh and Clever News, but was also a network for many other creators. But it shocked the internet when it suddenly announced it was going to be shutting down, even though they owed more than 50 YouTube creators roughly $1.7 million in funds. This then caused massive YouTubers to come out against the company and beg for someone to get them the money that they were owed. Ryland Adams, Matt Pat, Chris Stuckman, and Anthony Padilla were just some of the people that openly spoke out against the brand. And after the shutdown, many YouTubers and these big channels were left in limbo, not sure of how to collect AdSense as it would usually be given to the creators through that company. I even remember Clever, which I watched quite a bit, saying that they were just waiting for another media company to buy the brand, which thankfully ended up happening. But it just showed a lot of creators not to work with networks, if I'm gonna be real with you. In at number 2, Chuck E. Cheese. After Shane Dawson dropped a 3-part theory docu-series, people were very suspicious of Chuck E. Cheese, and that's because one of the theories he investigated was one that said that they recycled their pizzas. And that is why the pizzas at the restaurant almost never look like one whole pizza, but rather a sort of Franken pizza with slices coming from different pizzas and just like put together. Even saying that employees will put fresh cheese over the whole pizza, then recook it to make it all stick together and kind of look like one. Even saying in a video that an old friend told him she had seen them reuse pizza at the location that she worked at. The last piece of proof was when Shane brought a pizza to go, and after he got out a ruler at his house, determined that there was no way this was a whole pizza with no pieces missing. After the video dropped, Twitter went crazy with people demanding that Chuck E. Cheese address everything. The company ended up telling The Verge, quote, "The claims made in this video about Chuck E. Cheese's and our pizza are unequivocally false. Our pizzas are made to order and we prepare our dough fresh in restaurant, which means that they're not always perfectly uniform in shape, but always delicious." But like, if you looked at the pizzas in the docuseries, it's a little suspicious, come on. And finally, number 1, Morphe. Morphe is a brand that used to be a real hit or miss depending on who you asked. But now there's even more outrage against the brand after many influencers have publicly spoken out against them. The main backlash came after they dropped Shane Dawson from their stores because of all this drama, but refused to drop Jeffree, when he is just as bad, if not worse. After people felt the brand was incredibly hypocritical and clearly only cared about money, was when a number of influencers started tweeting out that they were no longer going to be featuring Morphe products on their channel and would stop using affiliate codes. Jackie Aina was really the first one to start the trend, tweeting out, "Hey booze, as some of you might know, as of this week, I will no longer be a Morphe Brushes affiliate. I refuse to align myself with a company that continues to retail anti-black racist beauty brands. I strongly encourage other influencers to do the same." Then other influencers like Amanda Ensing did the same as well. And not to mention the many times that they have been called out for changing formulas without telling customers, or just done really shady things that are clearly just for money. Alright everyone, that's all from me today. Let me know which feud you thought was the juiciest, or any other ones that I missed that could maybe be in a part 2. Because I know there are so many, but they're just honestly so hard to remember all the time, so definitely let me know and I would love to make this a series. But before I go, I'm gonna shout out some comments from my top 10 actors that don't watch their own movies. So I'm probably gonna change this set. If I was in the Star Wars movies, I wouldn't want to watch them either. Okay, so I've never actually seen any of them, but I have heard that the ending ones are not as great, and obviously the originals are the best, which is usually kind of how it goes. Then another user said, "I would watch it as soon as I can just to see what I looked like." Same, I would, if I was in front of that many people, my face being seen by millions, I would need to see what I looked like, what I sounded like I would just have to watch it through the pain. Then Amanda said, "I wouldn't be able to watch myself in anything. I'm extremely hard on myself. I'm my own worst critic." And I totally get that side of things. I think we're all like that a little bit, right? We always pick out the things that maybe other people don't notice, but yeah, I definitely can see that side of things, and it was really refreshing to hear that even big stars kind of have that insecurity too. Okay everyone, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way here, I really appreciate it, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram to be kept up to date with all the news and tea you'll ever need to know. And I will see you all in the next one.